Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC and sometimes Amazon Prime.
Skybound. That name is
pillar.
open.
Slide in.
Slide on into our DMs. Anyway, I'm Benny, that's Sal, and joining us today is Jeff, Dylan's
Okay.
twin brother.
I'm cutting this bit.
No,
My name is
no,
Dylan.
No,
Dylan.
No. We're starting Absolutely Marvel and DC lore.
Trying to figure it out. Get us
Dylan.
trending on Twitter like all those Minecraft YouTubers who I don't want to hear about.
Don't you remember that time that I kept mixing up the name of your channel until you changed it and then I got it right?
Yeah, I did just serendipitously changed it. I was like, damn it, Benny was right. That is a good name. So I changed it to Orum's Corner, and then you were suddenly right.
So today we're going to talk about episode 7 of Invincible. Once again, slight disclaimer, won't go into it as deep as last time, but keep in mind, this is the opinions of 3 individuals. Some of us have read some of Invincible, some of us haven't read it at all, and if you don't agree with us, why are you still watching this? We officially now have 5 episodes. You know what our opinions are. This is that
6?
disclaimer. 6?
This is
Oh,
episode
yeah.
7, yeah.
But I thought they did 1, 2, and
more
3 at
left.
the same time.
They did, so that's
yeah.
kind of one.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's true. I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah. So, but either way, what I'm saying is it's our opinions. You're allowed to have your opinions. Everyone is allowed to have opinions. Not everyone has to agree. That being said, I loved this episode. This was
Same.
an
It was awesome.
amazing episode.
I think this is going to be a pretty refreshing and positive discussion. Because,
Yeah,
like,
I think so too.
I'm going to be honest, I was trying to think about this earlier. I don't know why I liked this episode.
Well, you know why?
But I did.
The animation budget went a little bit up for this one. I didn't catch any major hiccups. The acting felt on point. A lot of the plot points were finally coming to head. We had the mom with Omni-Man. That we finally get to see what came out of that. Cecil finally came out and said what he was doing. We had the Mark and I always forget her name, but the girl he was trying to date. What was her name?
Amber.
I keep wanting to call her Amanda, and I'm like, I know it's an A.
Yep. And we also got the
finally
Robot
that.
Man.
We also got the
Yeah.
Robot Man reveal, which finally
Oh,
started to
Robot.
reveal.
I'm sorry.
Robot. I called him Robot Man earlier to throw Andy off. But we
Yeah.
got that reveal with him and Monster Girl. We got not Amanda, Amber.
Amber.
Amber revealed she knew he was a robot. I mean, not a robot. Knew that he was a superhero. Why didn't he
superhero.
just tell her?
Right.
And I liked this episode. The character, like, at no point did this episode feel like it was spinning wheels or doing
Nope.
wasted animation.
Yeah. I think that's like I don't fully agree with you on the animation front. I think the animation was just as flat as it's always been. Maybe there was more action in this one, which is why it seemed like it wasn't as flat. But I totally agree that like this, we're finally at a point where they've kind of dropped all pretense and we're just like, we're getting to it. We're getting to the reveal. Everybody's like in the know of what's on the table now. And
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But for me, though, like, the reveal, you know, because everybody keeps talking about the reveal. The reveal came when he killed the Guardians.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
the reveal was he's a bad guy, not what's coming. And I don't want to spoil it for everybody for this 20-year-old book, but, like, you know, I don't have much tension outside of the fact that because they have changed so much of this book into this show that I don't know how it's going to end, even though I know exactly how it's going to end. You know,
Yeah,
like,
I think my problem with a lot of these episodes before this, outside of like the weird decisions to spin their wheels on things and things like that, but the overall, the reason I kept having problems with the Omni-Man reveal was they did reveal it at the first episode.
right.
And so it's like if, to use an old movie, and if you haven't seen this one, I'm spoiling it for you, The Matrix. It'd be like if you go in to see The Matrix, and I'm like, by the way, he's actually in a simulation. The whole movie, you're like, when am I gonna find out he's in the simulation? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, not for the next movie.
yeah. But I'm sorry if I spoiled The Matrix for anyone from what 99.
Anyone cares? Yeah.
99,
I tried to
yeah.
think of an old or like Sixth Sense. It'd be like going in to see Sixth Sense and knowing he's a ghost. Sorry
Right.
if I spoiled another 90s movie.
You definitely did. Someone's pissed.
But it's saying like, and I think that's what bothered me about episodes 1 through 3, because episode 3, was it 1? I think it was 1. They ended with the reveal, he's evil.
Right.
Right. And if you were questioning if he's evil, they established very quickly the Guardians were the good guys. He is evil.
Yeah,
and they just kept doing that with like the detective and Cecil, and he is evil. They just kept hammering that home without the reveal, and it was like,
I get it.
Yeah,
like we all
and
get it.
Like it's catharsis, right? Because we're finally at that stage, like this many episodes in, where we're seeing people's reactions to finding out and the confrontations that come with that, and that is so much more interesting than the like dramatic irony of like, oh, we know that he's evil, but all of the characters don't.
Yeah.
Like, you can only do that for so long before it's like, all right, but we get it here, and it's great.
Yeah, that's true. I loved everyone in it. Like, everybody did a great job in terms of acting, but we've established that they spent like way too much on getting that anyway. Great cast, great story, lots of fun like breaks, because it literally could have been just an episode where, because I think the description was something like Omni-Man has something to tell Mark, but he just things keep getting in the way, and I'm like, oh my god, like you could have easily made this one of those stupid TV shows where he's trying to get to Mark, and each time he's trying to get to him to tell him the truth about who he is and his people and everything, like he has to fight a monster or a bad guy or what I mean, just constant obstacles. But no, it's just the cat's out of the bag. They try to stop him, and he doesn't care about any of that, and he's above it and can beat it. That was really cool. All of that was really cool, and every deviation thereof was cool too. Like every subplot that they cut to.
Well, and I liked how this brought together a lot of the plots that were going on. Like Immortal Man, he's back. If you're watching this, you already saw the episode. He's back. He's dead. I mean, like, Robot. Robot got the body, and was he evil or not? Nope. We know what his whole motive was. Revealed.
Yep.
Done. It's out of the way.
Yep.
The mom went with Cecil. We found out about why can't Cecil's powers work? Oh, he even explained why that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It was like they went through everything. The robots, the weird robots that were made, as much as I liked that episode, I was like, what was the point of this? Came back again.
Yes.
The only subplot that has not come back was the aliens, the Martian.
Oh
thing.
yeah, the Martians or the interdimensional guys. But like the interdimensional guys were there to establish what the reveal is at the end of this episode that Omni-Man already told them about. But anyway,
it's like they realize that they only have 2 episodes left, and we're like, oh, we need to like actually write an episode where a bunch of stuff happens and is interesting.
Well, and it used the runtime so smartly.
It did.
Like
it really
46, 48 minutes long, and it just feels like it felt like an hour movie. Like it felt like an hour and 20-minute movie, and I was like, "This is the show.
This is what I wanted all.
This is the show. Yeah. Like I don't care about like Amber being sad anymore. Like it's over. Move on. It was over months ago. Move on. Move on." But now
I like how they even said that in the show. Mark,
yeah,
she broke up with you months ago. You just didn't see
Just didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and
like this, the whole show, like the point of Invincible, and I feel like we've talked about this a lot, is that the intrigue of it is, at its core, at least during the early stages, is the relationship between Mark and his father.
Yep.
And the turn that takes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they've spun their wheels and wasted so much time trying to get to that point that like we're finally here, and they're finally realizing, oh shit, we have to wrap up, so let's just do it. Let's not waste any more time.
Yeah. Now I'm like thinking about how, because this episode is so economical, and maybe it's because it's the penultimate episode and they could spend more on it. Like I don't know about how the budget distribution works over a 7 or 8 episode series on Amazon, but it feels like if the animation budget is virtually the same as between episodes, God, can you imagine, like, how much more we could have gotten in this season? Like, how people have been like, dude, I thought I knew where Invincible was going. But it went so much further than I ever could have imagined. Like, the Amber plot, that's 2 episodes. The Adam Eve stuff, that's the undercurrent. The Omni-Man reveal, that's episode 3. Like, he, like, literally, at the end of episode 3, Mark fights Omni-Man. And then we get going. Like, that's kind of what I was hoping for this show. And yet we got a lot of show out of it. Like, was it fun to see Mark go to college like he does in the comics? Sure. Like, did it give William more depth than he had when he was first introduced? William does get depth as the series goes on, but like in the show, I think William is immediately more sympathetic and interesting than he ever was in the comic. But who cares? Like, at the end of the day, it ain't the William show; it's the Mark Grayson show.
Yeah,
and I don't know. Like, this episode kind of revealed all my issues with the show because of how much I loved it and how much I was like, I wish every episode was like this.
It definitely made it more clear, like, why, because me being confused on why I liked this episode so much was equally like being confused why I didn't like the other episodes. And I think, like you said, like, it made it a lot more clear. Like, this episode just wants me to have, I'm sure Amazon ordered 8 episodes. They were like, I don't care what you do, make it 8 episodes.
Yeah.
But imagine if it was 4 with the same budget.
Same budget
it
and
would
the same end
amazing.
result. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
That would be great.
Agreed.
So I think overall, I know it's a bit of a shorter review, but see, that's the problem. When we enjoy it, we just kind of tell you what we enjoyed.
Right?
It was good stuff. Like, and this, like, something that you know, a show like this needs to do is give you enough and leave you wanting more. And like, this is the first time that I want to see the next episode.
Same.
In this show.
Same. No, I was by the Mars episode. I was like, I think I can pretty much skip the show.
Right.
Like, because I know where it goes in the comics, and I could just reread the issues I really enjoyed, and I don't need to see this again. But this episode, I was like, oh, man, maybe they'll learn their lesson from these next 2 episodes and go like, oh, season 2 is just going to be, like, 5 volumes of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is literally just like, what, 2 volumes, maybe 1 of the book?
Yeah, it's pretty stretched out.
And it's like, you could cram a lot of stuff into these shows.
That's like you read this episode was like reading an issue of the Immortal Hulk. Like, it's just so dense and full of like plot that
But
you
still
end the
satisfying.
comic. Yeah, exactly. And you're like, that was great. I don't need to read another one, but I really want to.
Yeah, because there are so many issues that I've had with like shows and comics where it is just they're just like it's compressed storytelling, and they're just like, here's we don't know how many more issues we're gonna get, or we don't know how many episodes we're gonna get. Like, we're just gonna jam everything we can, and we don't know about story structure. We don't know how to make things narratively satisfying. So just here's everything. It just feels overwhelming, and it's like,
I mean, that's Immortal Hulk in a nutshell.
yeah, but you
we're like 40
like
issues in, and I'm like, they're gonna cancel this. What, the Hulk is weird.
Nope.
Like,
yeah, but no, and like, but there's so much in it, and it's this episode perfectly balanced the content with the with the story. Like, I care about the characters. I was invested in, like, I'm sure a lot of people will say like, well, that's because you had 5 episodes to get to know everybody. Like, no. We're still dealing with archetypes. We're still dealing with like with
analogs. I mean, I don't care. I still don't care about Amber. No. And the fact that she's like, I knew that you were a superhero and I was waiting for you to tell me, that makes me even like, we wasted so much time on Amber.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. And what's funny is, like,
we were building up to Mark revealing, and he did, and she goes, I already knew. Like, get off the screen! Get off the screen!
Well, and she was like, I already knew, but like, not really. Like, more like, I kind of like knew you were a superhero. Like, I didn't really know, but I wanted to be a teenager and tell you I already knew. Like,
yeah.
And what's funny is, here's the other thing for that plot for me that's so frustrating. It feels like there was a lot of Amber Mark stuff. There's not a lot of Amber in this show. Like, there is not a lot of Amber in this show, but every time she's there, she's probably complaining about Mark. And that's probably where you're getting the most frustration. Is like, I would love to see more than just that one weird botched date that shows me why I should be invested in this relationship.
I think that's why, like, because like he got her to go on the date, he botched the date, and then they had nothing but botched dates and her complaining.
Yeah,
like, it's like, okay, I'm not naming names because I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but I got friends who get into relationships who get really attached in like 2 to 3 weeks, and then they start, oh, I can't deal with this, and I don't know what to do with this, but I don't want to. I don't like. You've been dating for 3 weeks, just
right.
The end of the world is not going to happen if you break. You will meet someone else, I promise you. But what if I never meet anyone else? You've been dating for 3 weeks. Where do you think it's going to go in 3 years?
Right. Well, kids probably, right? I mean, that's usually what you do when you things are having when you're having trouble.
Oh God.
First you get a dog, but that's usually how it goes. Anyway, it's just like, but like I think that's where the source of frustration comes from, the Amber plot. But overall, like, Yeah, and what's funny is maybe we like the episode because, like, cathartically, well, their relationship is over now.
Yeah.
So we're like,
not- yeah,
yay!
that could be it too.
We got a lot of things we wanted. Like, we got some payoff, we got some explanations. They broke up, and Amber's not going to be in the show anymore. Like, there's a lot of great
Well, it's
stuff.
She's
like-
going to
yeah.
be back next episode to forgive him.
Oh, I hope
regardless of like the character itself, like it's removing a subplot that was not productive in any way.
Yes.
Like that Amber
You know,
did
I- you know,
not teach Mark anything.
No.
No.
Like that
Here's the problem with
relationship
Amber.
not
Here's the
moving
problem with
forward.
Amber.
But Mark thinks she did, though. That's the thing.
I got it. I figured it out. The problem with Amber is we never saw why Mark cared about Amber.
No.
We didn't see
Yeah,
that she was like
they
the
didn't really
super
have
popular
chemistry.
girl, or she's so amazing that he
We
needs
knew
to be
she
with
was
her.
hot and he liked her. That was when it started.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all we ever
She's
had.
a woman and he's in high school. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was it.
And all he ever did for the whole series was try to date Amber and make her like him. And every other character's like, oh, just give Mark a chance. But at no point did we ever see why Amber was worth dating. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you want to get into the dating world, you need to be worth dating.
Right.
Like, if I was in that high school, I would have been like, okay, Adam Eve is like crazy. Let's go date her. Like any of these other girls that have popped up, right? Like Amber did nothing but complain and work in a soup kitchen. That is quantifiable. I need to date her to the point of going through this drama. Like,
Yeah. I mean, like, I get why Mark liked her in the comics and in the show. It's just that the show didn't do enough work for me to care about their relationship. And, like, the show wants you to believe that Amber changed Mark, that Mark was shallow and superficial, and the powers only compound the deficiencies in Mark's personality, and meeting Amber and Amber having these qualities made Mark want to be better. Like that the women in his life, his mother and Amber, make Mark a better person. It's just that there was no moment where Amber actually does make Mark a better person. It's just
Right.
that Mark wants to be a better person because of Amber, and we do know that Amber has qualities that are, you know, relatable and also aspirable, you know?
Yeah.
Or inspiring, because she volunteers, she's selfless, she's cultural, she's interesting, she's inquisitive, and she's smart, and like all these things, and we know them because like we see all the things on her walls, and we know that the only things that she does besides complain at Mark is volunteer. So yay, we know who she is as a person. But Mark, and we do know that Mark sucks because he sucked for 5 episodes. He sucks at being a superhero. He sucks at being a son. He sucks at being a boyfriend. He's not a very good friend to William.
Yeah, so we've established the William thing. That it was like, if you had just come with me, none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
I know. Like, wow, you're just terrible, Mark.
Right. And then William's like cool about it, and Mark's like, you're lame. Like, ugh. And it's like, okay. Like, so Mark's a different character than he is in the book. Like, okay, we're just gonna move on. Like he is a TV show character, because that's what he is in this show. He is a character who needs to go through an arc because that's how it works.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, fine. But this episode, like, it's funny because you know what it is. This episode's like the most comic accurate, outside of like the, you know, all the obstacles that Omni-Man has to face. But like, it's not even like it's the most one-to-one to the comic book. It feels the most like the comic book. This is the episode where it's like, this has the tension and the drama and the circumvented or supplemented expectations that the comic book has. So it recreates the experience of reading that book in the best way, because you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm surprised by what's happening, and I care about who's happening to. That's all you need. Which is why this episode needed but 4 episodes.
True. I agree with that, because like everything in this episode, from Adam Eve doing her own thing.
Yep.
Mark like dealing with things are falling over. Mark dealing with his emotions and everything, to like the reveal of Robot Man being a man. Like all of that is just like interesting stuff, and that's like stuff that was all like kind of jammed into this episode, and and it feels like it feels like the little that I read of Invincible that I sort of cared about. Like I've said that I stopped reading it because I didn't really care, and I think it's because like those early volumes are kind of filled with some of the more like high school drama stuff that I don't think the book is as good at.
No.
And that's what a lot of the show is latched onto that for whatever reason.
Right.
And like the whole Amber relationship, I know we keep harping on it, but
true.
it's indicative of like the whole kind of vibe that the show has, is like it feels like something that doesn't need to be paid attention to, but somebody tripped and accidentally said that it did.
Yeah.
Like it's like a relationship that you have with someone and you just realize you're not compatible and you move on and you forget about that person in like 4 years.
Yeah.
But we see that as like the main relationship in this show for some reason.
You know what it is? I think one of the issues is that this show is an adaptation of a, like, you know, the comic book is meta and also a comic book. Like, it is a superhero. It's a superhero comic book. For some people, it's their favorite superhero comic book. And I think that saying that Invincible is your favorite superhero is like saying that Watchmen is your favorite superhero comic, because like it only exists in a world against other superhero comic books.
Right.
And you can only enjoy Invincible in a world where it stands alone amongst its peers. And that is the strength of Invincible, is that it I'm trying to think of that word, subverts your expectations, right? It subverts your expectations in the best possible ways, and the worst sometimes, depending on how far along in the book you are. But for me, that was like the selling point, was like, dude, you're gonna read this book and you're gonna think it's gonna go here, but it goes here. Oh, and like, and it zigs where it zags, but it's still satisfying narratively. And I think they sold it to Amazon like that, but Amazon or whoever's developing the show was like, but it's still got to be a show though, and shows have relationship dramas, and shows have intrigue and surprises. We got to play the long game. We got to Stranger Things this show up, where it's like we set something up here, we pay it off 8 episodes later, like, and it's like, but then you devalue the specialness of the reason why we even did it in the first place. That's why I think I was so frustrated with the show from the beginning, was like, but it's nothing like the comic, because it is like everything else I'm watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're finally at the point in this episode where it's like the comic, and it's like, irregardless of that,
It feels like a
it's just
superhero show now.
interesting.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, before this, it felt like they were trying to go the CW route.
Yeah.
Now it feels like they're going, okay, no, we're a superhero show, let's do the superhero stuff. Before, I mean, I complain about the CW shows every week, but I watch them.
Right. Right.
The focus has been shifted onto the interesting part.
Yeah, and it's a superhero show, but it's a unique one. Like, this episode is like, oh, this is like the thing I like, but it does it differently. And that's why it's so successful, but also why I think people are like going to be so excited about the show, because it goes in this direction, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see how they end it. You know, they might be like, well, we really got to stretch out this drama. You know? I mean, who knows?
The cliffhanger is going to be right where this one is. They're just going to be staring at each other's face again. Just like,
oh, they better
Just
not.
that for 40 minutes.
It'll be a Dragon Ball episode. They'll both be trying to go Super Saiyan.
Oh, sweet. Good. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It sounds like this is why I don't watch anime.
Yeah. I watched a little bit of, I watched the first season of Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, oh, it's all like this?
All right, thank you guys so much for joining us today at Absolutely Marvel and DC and sometimes other shows. We'll see you guys next time right here. I'm Benny, that is Sal, and that is Jalen.
Whoa, I don't like that one.
We'll see you guys next time right here.